Welcome in. This is Montgomery Focus, and my name is Miguel Diaz. I'm the Communications Director for the City of Montgomery. Joining me today is our mayor, Stephen Harvey. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And just have this time to kind of chit-chat about some of your thoughts, bringing some questions in from this last town hall that was very successful, and answering a couple more of those questions that people had either written in or we have asked on the side but didn't feel like they got answers to. But I do, again, appreciate you joining me. I do want to start out with a question of myself. I'm newer to the city. I'm loving the city, loving everything about it. What is one of the things that you're most proud of when you think about Montgomery?
Well, I think, when you consider all the strengths and attributes of our community, it's the people. Really is the people that make this city go, and we have kind of brought a little bit of energy, a little bit of vision, hopefully to make it grow. So the people by far are, a selfless group of people who are looking out for their friends and loved ones overwhelmingly, and really looking at, how to make things better, not only for themselves, but for other people in their circle and other people just within the city overall. So I think that's one. And then the second thing, or the 1A, I would kind of say, would also be just the rich history of what's happened here. And what I like to tell, national groups that I speak to, whether they're here or whether I'm speaking somewhere else, is that the nation owes a debt to Montgomery in this region. There's not another region, particularly when you consider Selma to the west and Tuskegee to the east, that has done more to impact change in this country than Central Alabama. And so we're always pushing that history, but also talking about what our vision is for the future.
Yeah, very good. And then kind of honing on at some of the issues around the city, and one of the questions, it's actually a couple of questions we got from some of the business owners, is some of the things that they might be able to do to help police when it comes to just knowing where either camera systems are or just being involved in the community to at their best level.
Well, I think from the business owner side, having been a small business owner myself, one of the things that business owners can do is to, one, look out for one another, certainly look out for themselves, but look out for their neighbors, and then to make sure that they're helping us advocate. Our Star Watch system will allow us to tap into their technology at a public level so that things are happening there or nearby. We will have access to that footage and know what's going on. And then three, just to make sure that they are letting us know about suspicious activity that they may have seen as it relates to their, proximity to their business. All of those things help us from a business perspective, and just their overall involvement in the community is value added, opportunity for us.
And one thing I did notice, that I have noticed, when we're in council meetings, is a lot of that community coming together, and people in groups kind of knowing their little areas, which is very helpful. I did notice we had the community policing office as well that people could reach out to if they wanted to get some more information. There was another thought just kind of surrounding Montgomery, and I don't really consider it not walkable. Every time I walk through here, I feel like I'm seeing a piece of history, get all the plaques to be able to read. But some people did ask a little bit about, what are your thoughts about making Montgomery more walkable and maybe having dedicated lanes for bikes and walking?
We're firmly for that, and we have been since I came in 2019. One of the things that we have to do is to update our zoning plan, our zoning ordinance, and planning initiatives, and that had not been done in well over 60 years. So, most cities kind of do zoning and planning updates about every 5 to 7. We had not done that in several decades. So that's why the city feels like that, because we haven't had those zoning updates that were needed. And now we're going through that. We can see the finish line now. We've been going through it for well over a year. And when that comes into play, you'll see us take a distinct change in how we approve development, how we approve different ideas, and how we try to model our growth. And that is to make sure that it's a city that has more sidewalks, that has more bike lanes, that has more pedestrian-friendly pathways for people to use, that connects even different parts of the city. Again, which some of this has already started through River Region Trails, but we certainly want to extend more. And it will also be a priority for us as it relates to federal and state funding too.
And speaking of the federal and state funding, we did have that really good news about the $60 million that's coming in, and I understand that's for our public transit, and then also for West Montgomery.
Did you say 60 or 16?
16.
All right,
yeah,
16.9. I didn't want people to get too
16.9,
happy with that.
yeah.
That's right. Almost 17 million.
Almost $17 million.
I mean, that's 8 to 10 electric vehicles. I mean, buses. So I'm not minimizing it at all.
Understood. Yeah. And then we had the $36 million that's going to really help with West Montgomery and some of those areas. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of what you're looking out for that when we're talking about that money?
Yeah, for me, we talk about live, learn, and earn. And one of the things that I knew when I was running several years ago was that we had this underutilized asset called West Montgomery. And we have other parts of our city that have not been fully maximized too, but they don't have an interstate running right through the heart of it like West Montgomery does. And when you have 70,000 vehicles on that interstate, that's commerce. That's an opportunity for development. That's an opportunity for rooftops. That's an opportunity for a lot of things that, in my opinion, should have been done a long time ago. So as we talked about the history, again, of the Selma and Montgomery Voting Rights Trail, we talk about the future and what we imagine that airport corridor looking like along Highway 80 all the way through Highway 31 and then coming back into West Montgomery along Fairview Avenue. Such history going there and into downtown, but you look at it, it's not a place that you would think had a lot of value because there hasn't been much investment, if any, over the last several decades. So we have pressed that issue with the Biden-Harris administration. They have heard us. We told them they could not continue to come here and celebrate the Selma and Montgomery March and not invest in it. I told Secretary Pete Buttigieg in one of my very first meetings with him, there was not enough for them to come visit and lead thoughts and prayers. People want a difference. They want a change. And this administration has heard us and has rewarded us, not only with that grant, but also by helping put us on the map with philanthropic organizations and private entities, which will bring about more investment and more partnership that I believe not only will help restore West Montgomery, but will help revitalize our entire urban core. And that is significant because that will carry not only into downtown and Maxwell Air Force Base, that will carry south beyond our airport and over the years down Highway 31 past South Lawn into our Montgomery Industrial Park. So this is what you have to do when you're growing a city. You have to find, that part of the city that you can inject life into and allow that then to flow into other parts of the city. And that's what we've been seeing here because we just saw a recent rendering by a different firm that has not been announced yet, who has some ideas about investing in this corridor as well. So that's the goal. That's what the grants do for you. The grants on the public side announce that there is a belief and that there's confidence in what you're doing so that the private sector and the philanthropic sector dollars then follow. And that's exactly what we're seeing it. We're just seeing it happen a lot faster than I thought we would.
And speaking about that messaging to the private industry, and this was a question that did come up too, was the about housing. And there's, I think everywhere you go, all over the place, there's houses being built. And we got some really interesting numbers about kind of the future of that. Can you tell us a little bit about that future and what we're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, we've already got, I think over 5,200 housing permits that we have processed with another 3,000 or so in the pipeline. So that's potentially 8,000 more housing units coming online, which if fulfilled will result in at least 12,000 more people calling Montgomery home. So that is opposite of, I think, what you may see and hear on social media about people leaving. Listen, there have always been people leaving Montgomery. I was born and raised here. That didn't just start happening. And that's with every city, right? But what we also are seeing are people coming in to the city who like the character of our neighborhoods, who enjoy the infrastructure that we have here, and want to be approximate to our cultural affairs opportunities, our museums, our Shakespeare festivals, our parks. All of those things that we have are drawing people in. So when we can have those housing permits, that's significant because that's new housing, that's workforce housing, but we also have interest from infill developers and those who want to come into other neighborhoods that may not have the planned urban development for 250 homes, but want to do block by block development, house by house. That's significant for a lot of our older neighborhoods, and I think that shows the confidence in not only what we're doing as an administration, but what the people in our community are doing each and every day in their professions, as well as in their philanthropic and volunteer opportunities that we have around this city.
Very good, and it kind of feels like the proof of what our economy is and how diversified it is. Having all the people coming and moving in is just it's wonderful. And along those lines, a couple questions that did come in
Sure.
though. Some of the areas that are a little bit older, and maybe there's some property owners not taking care of their properties
Yeah.
as well. How should people get involved with our city government to make us aware of the issues? Is there an ability there?
Yeah, so one, they can dial 311 and let us know where they're seeing overgrown grass or where they're seeing some blighted property. Two, they can also go to our website under our Permitting, Planning, and Inspections Division and reach out to staff directly. And on that site, we have what was presented last night at a council meeting is how we go about the demolition process in the city of Montgomery. We had someone challenge that last night at the city council meeting, something that we've been trying to tear down for 3 years. This was our first time coming to a city council meeting. Well, they were heard but not supported in that endeavor, and that was for the Governor's House Hotel along Southern Boulevard. Very significant structure, but one that has long seen its best days behind it. But we also need for some of our community members to make sure that if they report something that they follow back up and make sure that it doesn't just go by the wayside. And we're doing much better with a lot of money, taxpayer dollars, we're putting into software tracking and project management tools. So we'll know when a project has been completed and not just think that we know that it's been done. But those are some things that they can do by contacting us, either via 311 or online, letting us know where it is, and then we're going to get our team out there. And it's also pertinent to know that we're expanding our code enforcement team so that we can cover more of the city. Because one thing we have to keep in mind is that although the city population has kind of gone up, fluctuated up and down here or there by just a little bit, the city has overwhelmingly built east over the last 30 plus years. So as the city has built east along I-85, the geographic area that we have to cover has grown. But we still have to maintain those older parts of the city that may not be as populated, but still obviously are on our grid and on our radar for maintaining them. So we're expanding the code enforcement so that we can make sure in some of these older pockets we are following up and that we have eyes and ears in as many areas as we can.
Very good. And a couple of the questions, just go into a couple of questions because we're talking right now about all leads into what the future of the city is going to look like. And speaking of futures, the youth are our future.
Yeah.
What are some of the things? And we know a lot. There's a lot of work that's happening with some of our civic centers our centers and parks. People had questions about your thoughts or wanted to know your thoughts about education for our youth and what the city is doing and what the city would like to do for the youth of the city in the near and far out future.
Yeah, well, one thing, the city has put tens of millions of dollars in renovating and rehabbing community centers. We have spared no cent as it relates to the cost of goods going up and the cost of completing this construction being a lot more expensive than where it was 3 years ago when we first started the process. That said, we also know programming is a big part of that. So we want to make sure that programming and partnerships are in accordance with these new buildings. So it may mean e-gaming, it may be health and wellness, it may be around social media, it may be around financial literacy. These are things that we want to make sure we include in our community centers, not only for young people, but their parents and grandparents and caregivers as well. The other thing is we have partnered with NPS to bring about an international baccalaureate certification for our schools. That's very, very important for our academic offerings. We want to continue to see the best and brightest choose Montgomery Public Schools, but we also want to make sure the best and brightest athletes are choosing our schools, regardless of what sport they're in. So we've been pushing for a comprehensive athletic department approach, and we haven't only been pushing for it, we just signed the MOU with Montgomery Public Schools to bring back city support for middle school athletics. That is very, very important to us because we know for so many of us, that's where we got our first chance of mentoring and leadership from coaches. And we want to make sure that we have great coaches who are trained and certified in our middle schools, acting not only as X's and O's advisors, but also life advisors. And that's the most important thing for us.
Very good. My final question is, what are you most excited about looking into the future? I would say 20 years from now.
Oh, wow. I think the city would have grown tremendously in 20 years. I don't plan to be around in 20 years. But I think the city would have grown in 20 years. I think that we will have a lot more amenities in our city, from a convention center to a newer arena to even an airport that's helping getting people in and out of our city, to a newer amphitheater. These are things that we'll see, and we'll see neighborhoods that right now we're looking at and we think, well, who would want to live there?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel sorry for the person that lives there. Mm-hmm. To those being the neighborhoods where everybody is trying to get to, that everybody wants to live in because it's close to parks, they're close to our trails, they're close to neighborhood dining and retail options. There's a different sense about our community then than it is now. And I think people will continue to see the growth and the progress that we've made, resulting in a lot more of these job announcements and from out of town and current job expansions for those that are in town. So that's what I think we'll see in 20 years, and hopefully I'll be around to see it, just not in the mayor's chair to have to do the work to implement it.
Very good. Well, that's all I have. Is there anything else you wanted to share? Or?
Well, listen, I just want to just share to all of our residents that we're grateful for the work that they do. We're grateful for how they continue to lift up our city and what they do for our charities, what they do for our churches, our schools. It really, really is a tremendous opportunity for us. And it's really because of the people that are behind the scenes, in particular this new generation, those that are a little bit older than I am to those that are much younger than I am, who have this new energy and a new set of eyes and ears of how they want to see not only the city, but the region itself. And that's what puts the real punch behind live, learn, and earn, because of the innovation and intelligence that we have right here from so much of our young talent. So we want to continue to recruit and retain them to our city, show them that we're a city that's on the move, and show them that we're a city that they can call home now and in the future. Very good.
Well, I appreciate you joining me, and we'll have more of these, more conversations with you as we go along. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in and for spending some time to hear what the mayor has to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.